Peace family, it's your boy Gerald. It's Sunday. It is the backside of your weekend. I hope you are well. I hope that this past week was all about breakthroughs, understandings, and you are actually allowing yourself to reflect, recharge, and be in the now. So last week, I put a video out about Hurricane Doreen, and how it's all about preparation, but it's also about having a level head when you have to make choices, and actually how there's a blessing because it also affords you opportunity to see what has roots. And it's funny because this morning you hear the birds chirping. Already taking the boys out. They've already ate, and they'll probably start yelping in a minute when they see me because I'm walking around on my deck. I wanted to show you this real quick. When I first moved here, the original owner, the landlord, he made this sign. He took this passage that Thomas Jefferson once had said, and it goes, "Nothing can stop a man with the right mental attitude from his goals. Nothing on earth can help the man with the wrong mental attitude." And that was done by Thomas Jefferson. And every day for the last 2 years, I'm going to show you, it's been there. It used to be hanging up, right? But I use that as a mantra. And as a lot of you already know, that I spend a lot of time on my days off. I'm in the yard because it's all about getting your hands dirty, but it's also a great time to reflect because you have to put effort in your energy. So I put the video out talking about preparation, and Hurricane Doreen came through, and I noticed something. And I said, well, I know when it's all said and done, what will be, will be. But at the end of the day, it's not your control. It's God's will. So this morning, I woke up and I found this. I'm going to pan this to you. Bam. Yep. And that was from the wind damage from Doreen, as well as, where it came through. And initially, the one which would be on your right, I saw a crack. And I said, well, my first concern was the fence line right here. I was worried about it because I said, there's nothing but foliage back here. Nothing. I love it. But cognitively, I started thinking, I said, well, man, if some trees come down, it's going to take out that fence line that runs around the property. Now, granted, I don't own this place. I rent it. And I'm archiving this right now because since I've been here, this has afforded me opportunity for preparation, because we can use this as a timestamp. This time next year, I'll be in my own house. I'll be in my own home. And all the time that I've put in cultivating the landscape, putting time in the gardens and stuff like that. This all has been nothing but a crash course for what I wish to do for my own property. And being the fact that, hey, I done broke the big 5-0, you know, it's been really a norm for me to have a mindset of, I don't want to say nomadic, but I've always saw the convenience of, hey, well, if you rent, if you ever get tired of your environment, put your notice in, do what's right, transition on. But now I'm at that point now, like, no, I want to put my roots down and I want to have my own. Even though nothing on this earth is yours, it's just giving you access. That's for somebody. Because you came in this world with what you had. That's your life, your mortality, that beautiful mind, and the ability to manifest and create your reality. So with all that said, I turned around. I just noticed that. And what you're hearing in the background is the dryer. Just, I got some stuff I gotta do. Also, just finished. Oh yes, sir. Gotta represent. We get to play the Cowboys today. Hopefully, we'll do very well. But even though we're getting grief on that now, but we'll see. It's any given Sunday. Go Skins. But you know, instead of being frustrated, because that's going to be a lot of work, them branches going to have to get cut down. I said, well, where's the blessing in that? Without batting an eye, I said, okay, well, I know what I'll be doing this week. I'll start this week on my days off. I'm going to start cutting those branches down. And I'm going to start cubing those branches. And what I mean by cubing is, guess what? Even though this occurred, that's firewood. I got a fireplace. And I got a feeling that we are going to have a very cold winter. So guess what? I got firewood that's going to carry me through. So I'm grateful for that. But on a different note, the thing that crossed my mind this morning, and I've been kind of harping on this for the last 2, maybe 3 weeks. I'm gonna make sure I got my volume up. Man, I'm really feeling this phone. Recording this on my Galaxy Note 5G. I'm sorry, Samsung Galaxy Note 10 5G. I love the camera. The camera is the mom. Now, the one thing that I've realized the last couple weeks I've been harping on, and not trying to rant, and like I said, I think the trigger was when Popeyes did the promotional of the sandwich, and how everybody and their mama, I'm saying that loosely, they wanted that sandwich. And how I turned around and I said, well, you're giving all your energy to a commercial business, but what if you took 10% of that same image, 10% of that same energy and applied that to your dreams? Do you realize how much your life would drastically change? And I think I haven't let that go indirectly, because it also opened up another door and made me ponder this. Why is it we are loyal to our memories, but we're not committed to our dreams? Think about it. Now, granted, those will be emotional triggers and milestones to your growth. As well as we have to acknowledge those are also emotional triggers that are maybe connected to what we deem as a setback. No, I didn't shave correctly. It made me, it just made me marinate that for a minute. I'm like, why? Why are we so loyal to our memories? And then what the epiphany I got out of that was, because it's the same energy that is connected to our fears, but we're just interpreting it from a different perception. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, damn. So if I turned around and focused on what requires me to be the best me, then I should have momentum. There should be nothing that should be keeping me away from my goal setting. So that's why I also wanted to timestamp today, because since I've been at this residence, I've had different things in my development as a man that I've had to tackle, which naturally, because I did not know, would cause me to feel insecure, which would motivate me to not want to even try, because that's human nature. Think about it. Think about all the things that you wish to do, but you haven't. And there's no one or nothing keeping you from it but you. There's no obstacles physically. It's all mental. It sounds simple. It sounds easy. It may look very concise written down on paper. But what's keeping us from taking the first step? What's keeping us from it? And I would like to believe it's because it's the same energy that keeps us loyal to the people that ain't loyal to us. Which goes back to the person in the mirror that wakes up and greets you every day. You know why we do that, family? Because we're still trying to figure out our worth. We still do not celebrate our uniqueness. That's why you got a million people looking like the same person. That's why you got a million people doing the same thing and getting the same outcomes. I've said this hundreds of times. Known scientist Albert Einstein, his definition of insanity: it is doing the same thing, expecting a different outcome. But look at society though. You could turn around, turn on your TV from a long day, and the news greets you, which is never good news. And as the journalist, the anchor, is reading the story of the events of the day, before you even get to the middle part of the description, you already know the outcome. It's no different than turning the channel and you see the first thing on your screen, you don't know nothing about it, but you can already figure out the plot. Is it ironic? Or is that repetitive? Or at times is that simply the constellation, the here's your consolation prize, because they think that that's all that's going to be needed for your mentality. There's no effort there, because there's no investment in ourselves. So why should I change up the blueprint when there's no reason to change it? Do you realize how many people right now actually believe that financially they're destitute, but if they decided to change just a couple things, they wouldn't be? And this ain't no shade, because I was one of them. You look at your FICO score, and you don't like where it is, and you beat yourself up, instead of empowering yourself, saying, well, okay, this is legit, this is not. What do I need to do to get that updated? What do I need to do to change and get it removed? But we let it sit there. We let it sit like it's just going to magically drop off. But we live in a human dynamic. So guess what? Somebody got to turn the knob. Somebody got to hit the switch. Somebody got to hit the delete. Somebody's action is required. It is proverbially nothing but a social domino effect, cause and effect. If you're hungry, but you don't say, I'm hungry, how are you going to get fed? It's the same. If you're not happy about a situation, but you don't address it, how do you expect it to change? You realize how many people really are just waiting for the climax to occur? The crescendo, or the proverbial orchestral music to play before they just said, okay, it is what it is. I'll do you one better. You hold on to a relationship or a bond that you've committed into, hoping that it will change. But really the outcome is staring you in the face right now. Some of y'all waking up to the outcome right now. I can hear somebody saying, he talking about you. He talking about you. If you don't like your outcome, why you there? Remember I used to always throw that in my video? I used to always say that. If you don't like what your life is showing you, it's showing you that ain't the life you're supposed to have. That's not the outcome that you deserve. And what's required is that you acknowledge it. You don't like your beacon score the way it is? Acknowledge that is your beacon score and make a commitment to change it. You don't like how your relationship is? Acknowledge it. Have the courage to have that discussion and then make a decision. Who am I talking to? Just like that, just like them two huge tree branches. There's gotta be at least 20 branches on there. I ain't even talking about the leaves. But guess what? I'm gonna let it rock for 4 days. And on my next day off, I'm going to start clipping ends. Remember I mentioned that? You got to clip ends in your life? Oh, yeah. Because you can't allow your life to progress expecting somebody to do your work. Granted, if you got the means and you can pick up the phone and say, hey, look here, I'm going to get me a tree service, come out there and do the work, and then take your hard-earned money. They're doing a job. It is about goods and services. But me as a man, I got 2 chainsaws sitting over there. But no one can understand the intent and the vision that I have for that, because just like as we proverbially like to use the proverbial saying of make lemons into lemonade, that's firewood for me. That's firewood. And I plan on using it. Couldn't have happened at a better time. But the blessing that came out of that whole situation is it could have took out that fence. Now, it wouldn't have been my responsibility to fix that fence. It would have been the landowners. But I've always been the type of dude that wherever I lay my head, I always leave it better than when I had it. Each one, teach one, pass it on. So, with that being said, it made me think. Why are we so loyal to our memories? Now, some may say, hey, that's how we learn, Gerald. Now, I'm going to put this phone down just for a second because I'm running out of coffee. Actually, this works. Cheers. Give me a second. Fill up my cup. Be right back. Got it. Matter of fact, one more thing. Thank you for your patience. So, as I just walked from my Jeep, grabbed a pack of cigarettes out. Yeah, I know, I'm still smoking. And I looked at how huge the branches is huge. I know right off the bat, I'm looking at easy 500-600 pounds worth of wood. And since the branches are sitting on the ground first, so I'm not even gonna be trivial about it and like, man, that's messed up my grass, because y'all know I'm all about my grass. My whole thing is I love a tight grouping of grass. I love that. You know, I put a lot of time in my yard, and where it landed, it just tore that whole area up a good, I say 15-20 feet worth. And so it's going to be a minute, but that's okay. We're in fall. But the point I'm trying to make is, even when things land in your life, and you are forced to acknowledge it, your growth is going to be there too. Your growth is going to be there. Your opportunity is going to be there. Your strength is going to be there. And guess what? The more comfortable you get in that, the more comfortable you are in your life. I know some people say, well, Gerald, that ain't nothing but a branch. Why are you trying to find some type of epiphany in that? Because it means a lot. It's all about your mindset, fam. It's all about your attitude. That's why I showed you that reference that Thomas Jefferson had once said. Because it is. It's about mental attitude. Or better yet, remember when your parents would say, well, when you want to do something, nothing stops you. Then you need to have that same energy when it comes to cleaning your room. Who am I talking to? Or cleaning your house, or cleaning your car. Or how about your job? There should be nothing that should keep you from your dreams, fam. There should be there is no obstacle that keep you from where you need to be. Which we can say spiritually, let no weapon formed against you prosper. That ain't nothing about a challenge. But the blessing is what you're going to do with it. You can't expect anything to play out how you desire it if you first don't acknowledge it exists. And if you're willing to acknowledge what is considered mentally a challenge, that's the same energy you should have when it comes to your life and everything that is connected to it. Remember how I used to always reference Tyrese Gibson and his song Walk? If you have not heard that song, it's called Walk, in quotations, poem to my fans. Listen to the words. Just listen to them. And then my second go-to is Natalie Stewart. Some of y'all don't know her by that name, but you know her from her stage name as Floesis. She was part of the duo with Marsha Ambrosius, the group Floetry. She always used to do the spoken word. Well, she has her own body of work, but she had one of her first debut album. There was a song on there called Breathe. Yep, Breathe by Natalie Stewart. Listen to the words, fam. Listen to them. And if that don't strike a nerve or give you validation, I don't know what to tell you. Because the one thing that I've come to understand, and I'm going to bring this home because we're at 28 minutes. Unfortunately, I had received news by way of my mom that a childhood friend of mine that I had passed away. And, you know, life brings people in your life for an indefinite period of time. They're there to show you to grow or to validate where you are. And which correlates to what Tyrese said in the lyric, the 5 most impactful people in your life is what makes your direction as well as your mentality. So if you got nothing but drama in your life, look at your friends. Look at the people that have access to your life. This also has reference to your loved ones. Sooner or later, family, you got to get real with yourself. Because you know what happens? If you don't, you get stuck. You know what happens to people that get stuck? They get bitter. and they can't transcend whatever was a trauma or an unanswered wound. Why? Why is that? You see it play out all the time. How many times we live in the narrative now that people are talking about sexual abuse, but you never hear people talking about narcissistic abuse, manipulative abuse. And that transcends the same way when it comes to your upbringing. Because guess what? We learn from those people who have access to our lives. So guess what? If those people that unconditionally you're supposed to love and look at for guidance have wounds, those are going to be the same tools that is going to be used as your narrative to grow. Let that sit. You deserve better. You can have better when you decide to love yourself more. Choice is yours. Now, as I was saying before I went on that caveat, so I found out that a loved one passed. Well, it was a dear friend of mine passed. And then it made me think about a friend of mine that every time I talk to him, he's stuck in 25 years ago. But if you look at his life, there's no growth there. There's just like light bulb moments. Life ain't supposed to be stuck in the remix, fam. Your life is about a classic. And it's up to you to make the music. God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. If you're feeling what I'm saying, give me a thumbs up. If you know somebody that they can get this, like all my videos, share it. Because nobody's promised tomorrow, fam. You're supposed to live every life, every day, like it's your last. But it starts when you acknowledge how loving you are so you can receive it. Be blessed. Peace.